Hi everybody, it's Deanna with your doTERRA Oil a Day, and I'm sitting outside on this very rainy day just thinking about how much I actually really like rainy days. I am glad that we don't have them every day, but I really do enjoy them, and so I'm sitting out here just listening to the rain and the trees, and it's really pretty. So today we're going to talk about Melissa, which is a fantastic oil that every home should have. And it's funny because much like frankincense, I used to think that Melissa was an oil that you just kept around for emergencies and for really bad stuff. And you would save it for those really rare occasions when you needed something really strong. And the more I learn about Melissa, it's just like frankincense. It's like, I think we should be using it every day. It's so important for our health. It is an incredible oil, and honestly, I don't know anybody else who has real, true Melissa like doTERRA has. There's some people that have that on the label, but it's actually not the real deal. And so this is a pretty special oil, and that's why it's found in a little tiny bottle, and why it's got a little bit of a high price tag on it. And so this is one that you would probably want to save up your loyalty reward points so that you can get this for free and make sure you have it in your home. So there's two things that are in Melissa that make it super special. The first one is there's a special chemical in here it's an aldehyde, which is a common component of a lot of essential oils, but it's called geraniol. And then the other thing in here is caryophyllene, and it's the one that has the little B in front of it. And the reason why these two things make it so special is because it gives it its rare abilities to really have a huge influence on our brain. So caryophyllene is a sesquiterpene. Sesquiterpenes are found in things like frankincense, and we know about that because we talk about frankincense a lot more, maybe because it's less expensive than Melissa. But whenever we use an oil that has sesquiterpenes, it's going to affect the brain very, very strongly. And so we usually recommend that you take it under your tongue. If I had to choose between the taste of taking frankincense under the tongue and the taste of Melissa, I would choose frankincense all day. So for those of you that have complained about taking frankincense under the tongue, you probably haven't tried this. But whenever I use Melissa, what I do is I take a little and I put it on my thumb. And then I take my thumb and put it on the roof of my mouth. I didn't get very much. Let me try that again. I think this bottle's getting kind of low. Alright, there we go. And you just kind of hold it on the roof of your mouth. It has this like peppery, grassy type taste to it, and it's not awesome. It's just not awesome. But I'll tell you what, it has an amazing ability to affect the brain, to help you have calm feelings, and it is really, really powerful, especially that geraniol stuff I told you that's in there. It has the power to really affect cooties. There's some pretty bad cooties that can replicate themselves really fast and create a whole bunch of them and kind of spread throughout the body. And a lot of these cooties can even, mutate and make something even different. And so it's hard to really know how to fight them. And so there's really not a lot of stuff out there to fight these kinds of cooties. But in nature, we have Melissa. And last week, you can probably still hear a little bit of it in my voice, but last week I was noticeably absent for a few days from our daily videos, and that's because I had some massive cooties going on. I had not been taking care of myself the greatest, and when I got exposed to somebody else with the cooties, it really hit me really hard, like harder than I've been hit in a long time. And one of the things I did was I added a few drops of Melissa to Epsom salts and put it in my bath water. And every time that I would do that, I would immediately feel better. I was having joint achiness, and I was just having general feelings of death. I mean, I just felt terrible. A lot of it was respiratory, but I did notice, like, honestly, after about a 10-minute soak in the tub, I would feel a lot different. If I am having a day when I'm feeling a little down or just feeling just a little like a blah type of day, the way that most people probably feel on a rainy day, I'm the opposite. I don't feel like that on rainy days. I feel super excited. But those types of days, I would do that on the roof of my mouth. As far as the caryophyllene thing, that's in it. A lot of people are, there's like a lot of hype out there about basically about the oil that comes from the marijuana plant and how it can help with so many different things. Well, guys, that's already in Melissa, okay? We don't need to like try something new and something that's unregulated and that we have no idea what's actually in that stuff. And we definitely don't need to smoke pot to get the major benefits that you would get from Melissa. So you can just take it the way I showed you. You can inhale it. It has the power to really affect any kind of cell invaders, anything that's going to replicate and make more and more and more cells that are not good. And so that's why that constituent that's in Melissa is so important, that caryophyllene. It helps with the cooties, it helps with the brain, it helps with the nerves. It's even been known to help people that are trying to maybe stop drinking so much alcohol, like maybe they have an addiction to alcohol, and that's very helpful. I would say putting it on the roof of the mouth in that same way is the best way to affect the brain. It also has pain relieving properties, and so that's another reason why people are always talking about cannabis oil, and we don't need to worry about cannabis oil. We have Melissa, we have black pepper. Black pepper's got a lot of similarities in that way to it. And as far as emotionally, we already kind of talked about it, but Melissa is the oil of light. And so I don't know if you guys have ever seen, what's that movie, Tangled, about Rapunzel? I always think, when I see that movie, I always think that that flower is the Melissa flower. The flower that is, that Rapunzel ends up like, her mom ingests it when she's pregnant with her, and then she ends up like having this light come out of her, and the light is like a healing light. And that's what I always think of when I see that movie, is that that totally describes Melissa, because what Melissa does is it helps to bring the healing light in, which I believe comes from above, comes from God. And so a really good place to put it would be like on the crown right here, or you can just do the roof of the mouth and it'll get in your brain, but it just helps to bring the light in. So if you feel like you just are attracting a lot of dark emotions, a lot of darkness, a lot of darkness into your life, and you're ready to kind of just level up in your life, Melissa is an amazing oil, and I really think that it can and should be used every day if there's any way you can. It also, there's some, folklore and stuff about it, which kind of matches that movie. There's some folklore about how it's kind of like an anti-aging type oil. And I mean, I can't say that if you take the Melissa every day, you're going to turn from the ugly old witch into the young, happy lady. But that's kind of the gist of what Melissa does, is it helps to kind of shield our bodies from all the things that are going on outside of us that are causing us to kind of break down and age and have lower vibrations that are coming towards us. And so I don't take Melissa every day, but after just researching a little bit more for today's video, I really feel like I need to. I've actually heard a lot of people have had good results that are wanting to get pregnant. I've heard a lot of stories about people having really good results with Melissa for that. So it just has amazing properties. So if you want to know more about what Melissa does, watch Walt Disney movie Tangled. I'm kind of kidding, but that's really, it's such a accurate description of what Melissa actually is for. So if you don't take it every day, you need to have it on your shelf, because there's going to be some of those bad cooties that hit your family at some point, or there's going to be a time when you're going through some really heavy emotions that you need something a little bit more intense than like citrus oils or something like that. And so Melissa is definitely one to have in your home, if not in your daily regimen. If you have any questions or stories about Melissa, of course I should have mentioned that those little bumps, like cold sore things that you get on your lip, if you can grab your Melissa right away when you first feel it coming on, that's really, really good for that too. So I just want to mention that. But if you have any questions or success stories or anything, please share them below. Please share the video. We'd love to have people learn more about this amazing oil. And we'll be back here tomorrow. I think, trying to think what tomorrow's oil is. It just slipped my mind. But it's definitely an M oil. And we'll be talking about it tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So I'll see you then. Shine on.